Superbad wasn't just a teen comedy, like it was an accidental masterpiece. It looked like a movie about high schoolers chasing booze and girls, but behind the dick jokes was a real coming-of-age storm. The script sat in a drawer for a decade. One actor was almost fired for being too awkward, and the cops, based on someone's real dad. These are 20 weird facts about Superbad. And the bonus, it involves a list of names, a Sharpie, and an actual interrogation room. Act 1. The movie was written by two teenagers. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg started writing Superbad when they were just 13 years old. They didn't write it for studios. They wrote it because high school was confusing and humiliating, and they needed to process it. The first draft was chaotic, unfilmable, and completely honest, but they stuck with it year after year. By the time it got made, they were in their 20s, and the characters were still named after them. That's not fiction, that's therapy with fart jokes. Fact 2. Jonah Hill almost blew his audition. Hill wasn't the first choice. The studio didn't love his look, his energy, or the fact that he talked back during casting. When he read with Michael Cera, he screamed at him. Way off script, the producers were stunned. Rogen was laughing. Cera just stood there, frozen. The director said, "He's either a genius or a nightmare." They took the risk. And that moment, Jonah yelling at Cera like he's ruining his life, became the movie's entire tone. Fact 3. Michael Cera almost got fired for being too polite. No joke. Cera's awkward, soft-spoken style was so low energy during early test scenes, the producers thought he didn't care. They considered recasting, but Judd Apatow stepped in. He told them, let him cook. The kid's timing is lethal. Turns out he was right. Cera's underplayed awkwardness made Superbad feel real. He wasn't trying to be funny, he just was. Fact 4. McLovin was real. Kind of. The fake ID with the single name McLovin? 100% inspired by a real fake ID someone Rogen knew in high school. The kid picked McLovin because, in his words, it sounds legit. The crew laughed so hard they wrote the entire scene around it. The best part? Christopher Mintz-Plasse had never acted before and nailed it in one take. He was 17 at the time, which meant his mom had to be on set for the sex scenes. Fact 5. Emma Stone got the part in a panic.
After first grade, before I went into second grade, I had my first panic attack.
Emma Stone was nobody when she auditioned for Superbad. She showed up late, flustered, and immediately spilled a bottle of water across the casting director's table. They stared, she stared, and then she said, "At least now we know I'm hydrated." She got the part, not because of the joke, but because she owned the chaos, which honestly is the whole movie in a nutshell. Fact 6. Seth Rogen was supposed to play Seth. Originally, Rogen wanted to play himself, the loud, food-obsessed, emotionally spiraling Seth character. But by the time the movie was greenlit, he was too old to pass for a teenager, so he handed the role off to Jonah Hill and played the cop instead. It was a perfect accident, because the cop scenes gave the movie its weird, adult edge, and gave Rogen room to mock the system from inside. Fact 7. The cops were based on someone's actual dad. Officer Michaels, Rogen, and Officer Slater, Hader, weren't just comic relief. They were based on Evan Goldberg's real father, a Canadian cop with a warped sense of humor. He once let Evan shoot a real radar gun at traffic. The goal in Superbad wasn't to parody cops. It was to show what would happen if two cops just never grew up. Turns out that's both hilarious and terrifying. Fact 8. The movie had 0 sets. Every scene was shot on location. Real high schools, real liquor stores, real suburban streets in California. Why? Because the budget was tight and the vibe needed to feel raw. Even the party house at the end. It was rented from a couple who moved out for the weekend and came back to find puke, fake blood, and a broken toilet. Production paid for the damage, and the couple, they asked to keep the fake McCloven ID. Loving the chaos? Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell because the next facts get even crazier. Fact 9. Christopher Mintz-Plasse was bullied by the cast. Not maliciously, but it got tense. Mintz-Plasse was so good at playing an annoying kid that the other actors legit couldn't stand him at times. Jonah Hill said, "He was so believable, I wanted to fight him." It made the on-screen tension real. The scene where Seth screams, "Nobody's gonna care about your stupid ID?" Yeah, that was only partially acting. Fact 10. The dick drawings were done by a real artist. That montage of young Seth drawing cartoon penises, that wasn't Jonah Hill's hand. It was an actual comic book artist hired to sketch 100 plus variations. Rocket ship dicks, samurai dicks, dicks in tuxedos. They spent weeks perfecting them. Each had to look like a 12-year-old with too much time and no filter. And yes, the Ghostbusters one made the entire crew break down laughing. Art is art. Fact 11. The period blood scene almost didn't make it in. Yep. The dance floor reveal where Seth realizes someone bled on his leg mid-grind. Almost got cut. Test audiences were horrified, the studio panicked, and some execs said it was disgusting for no reason. But Rogen and Goldberg fought hard to keep it. Why? Because it actually happened to one of their friends. In real life, they argued this is the most high school thing in the entire movie, and they were right. It stayed and became one of the most unforgettable and uncomfortable gags in teen movie history. Fact 12. The movie was almost rated NC-17, not because of nudity, not because of violence, because of language. The word fuck is used over 170 times in the movie. The MPAA told them to cut at least 30. They refused. Instead, they submitted it again and again until it finally squeaked by with an R. Apatow reportedly said, "If we cut the swearing, we lose the rhythm." And the rhythm, that's what made it feel like real teenage chaos. Fact 13. Jonah Hill actually got punched in the movie. That wild convenience store scene where Seth gets decked by a random dude? The extra playing the guy accidentally clocked Hill in the face for real. Hill dropped. Everyone panicked. Then he got up and said, "If it looks good, keep it in." They did. Which proves Jonah Hill was willing to bleed for your laughs. Fact 14. The liquor store was swarmed with real customers. They didn't shut it down completely during filming, which meant during certain takes, random shoppers would walk through the background, oblivious. One woman even asked Mintz-Plasse, still in costume as McCloven, if he could help her find wine. He did, in character. That take didn't make it into the film, but the producers saved the footage for laughs, and swore they'd use it in the DVD extras. It never made it there either, but somewhere there's a reel of McCloven doing customer service. Fact 15. The script changed every day. Superbad wasn't shot with a locked script. Rogen, Goldberg, and director Greg Mottola rewrote dialogue daily based on how the actors riffed in rehearsal. Apatow encouraged them to improvise, especially the boring in-between scenes. That's how we got moments like, "People don't forget. You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours." Well, the funny thing about my back is, it's located on my... Completely unscripted, completely iconic. Fact 16. Emma Stone was cast before she'd ever dyed her hair red. Stone is now famous for her red hair, but Superbad was the last time she appeared as a natural blonde. After the film, her manager suggested she switch it up for a role in Easy A. She did. And it stuck, but fans still argue over which Emma Stone is the real one, redhead or Superbad blonde. The truth? She's whoever ruins Jonah Hill's summer with one sideways glance. Fact 17. Mintz-Plasse was underage during filming, so his sex scene required legal supervision. Christopher Mintz-Plasse was 17 while filming the McLovin-Nichols scene. Legally, that meant his mom had to be on set for the entire sequence. She stood just off camera, watching her son simulate awkward sex. Mintz-Plasse later said, "It was super weird. She was really supportive, though." That scene, it's painful, hilarious, and real, because it's based on real awkward teen sex, just with a legal guardian holding a juice box 10 feet away. Fact 18. The cop's patrol car was constantly breaking down. The beat-up cop car Michaels and Slater drive. That wasn't production design, that was a lemon. The car had real engine issues and stalled between takes. In one take, the door fell off when Hader slammed it. They left it in because it matched the vibe. Two cops held together with tape, sarcasm, and deeply questionable ethics. Fact 19. The party house almost got condemned. Epic final party scene, where things spiral into karaoke, dancing, puking, and Jonah Hill getting hit by a car, filmed over 3 nights in a real suburban home. Problem, the crew's lights melted some of the vinyl siding, the neighbors called the cops twice, and a drunken extra broke a stair railing. After wrap, the owners threatened to sue. The studio paid them a settlement and quietly never use that location company again. Fact 20. The movie was shot in sequence. Unusual for a comedy, or any movie, Superbad was filmed chronologically, from the opening driveway conversation to the final goodbye in the mall. Why? Because the filmmakers wanted the characters' bond to evolve naturally, so by the time Hill and Sarah had to say goodbye, the emotions weren't fake. They'd just spent 6 weeks arguing, laughing, and fake vomiting together. What you see on camera, it's real. They were sad, and so were we. Bonus fact, the real McLovin ID ended up in a police station. The original McLovin ID prop, the one from set, not the duplicates, vanished after production wrapped. For months, nobody could find it. Then, a few years later, it surfaced, pinned on a bulletin board in an actual Los Angeles police department. Someone had gifted it as a joke. The cops thought it was hilarious and kept it as a training gag. Officers reportedly used it during fake busts, asking rookies to run the ID. Yes, somewhere out there, a real McLovin was on file. No last name, just a birth date of June 3rd, 1981. And the nation of origin? You already know. Hawaii. Superbad was never just a party movie. It was friendship, fear, humiliation, and heart, dressed up as a night of bad decisions and even worse, dancing. It let teens be messy, loud, honest. It didn't apologize for the cringe. It celebrated it, and in doing so, it gave us one of the most rewatchable, quotable, and downright lovable comedies of the 2000s. If you loved this dive into the insanity behind Superbad, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tell us in the comments which fact made you laugh, cringe, or rewind. More weird movie truth bombs are on the way.